There are some who call me Tim. Zapatero. Pues igual que yo. ¿Y qué opina usted? ¿Qué opina usted? Damn! 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 What? 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 What did you say? What? 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 What?
Can I have the famous wiener in my anus?
Hello, Philip. Everyone's redeeming your sausage because it is the sausage.
Good morning.
Good morning. We're rolling in, fresh off a couple of days, like a.
Nicholas Cage.
How was Scotland, Philip?
Bonnie old Scotland.
Bonnie Scotland. I'm gonna steal.
Some Bonnie Scots.
Did you I was gonna say, did you do anything fun? And did you meet any Scots? And it almost came out as, did you do any Scots? Well, dead weight, Nate. Good to see ya. You
Good
beautiful
morning, Nate.
human being.
Sorry, I think I have like something in my eyeball.
Is it me, the apple of your eye?
Unless you're like a small particulate that's really annoying.
That is me, to a T.
All right, then I guess maybe it is you.
I'm almost as cute as your son.
He's super cute.
Oh, he's about as cute as a bowl of spaghetti. A spaghetti.
No, spook it.
5 hours the way there. Fine trip.
I couldn't understand most of the Scots, but Glasgow was fantastic. Park Run 5K was also good, and I did well. Restaurants and burgers were awesome.
You ran a
However,
5K?
I did a 5K once. It was the 5K Foam Fest, and that was lots of fun.
You did a 5K. I did a 5B, like 5 blocks.
But so the 5K I did, it was the Foam Fest, and it was like you ran through like a bunch of like play obstacles that it involved a lot of foam. It was fun. I don't know. It was out in some farmer's field.
Oh, Foam Fest.
Yeah, Foam Fest.
Yeah. Oh, so that's Saskatchewan, right?
Yeah, I think they do it across like Canada.
Yeah, it's kind of like
It's lots of fun. The 5K Foam Fest. If you get the chance to do the 5K Foam Fest,
I know some people who
definitely
did
do
it who weren't necessarily, we'll say, they weren't necessarily like athletes.
I was also a lot more
this
fit
is actually probably
when I did the 5K Foam Fest. But yeah, this is kind of what it's like. There's a bunch of like random obstacles you run through, and at the very end you run through like a shitload of foam, and then you get to go down like a huge like slide. And then they give you a big trophy and a t-shirt. It's great.
I will say, for being surrounded by foam, the person who looks to be having the worst time is this young child. Why is he the only one that's not smiling? Everyone's like, yeah, this is great. Hey, let's go
Yeah.
into the foam. And he's like, ugh. It's like bath time for me.
But yeah, if for some reason it's ever in your neighborhood, if you get the opportunity, definitely do the 5K Foam Fest. It's lots of fun.
Yeah,
It's a
I
good
mean,
time.
I've never done it.
No.
I'm not much of a.
I don't think we would ever do a 5K together.
Yeah, I don't
That's
think
not something I
physically
ever.
can do it.
Yeah, you're a
Something like
disabled
that.
man. So
Philip said going home took 7 hours because you had a tire blowout and had to stand on the emergency barrier lane waiting for rescue people. Oh, jeez.
no.
Which tire was it? If you don't mind me asking, like rear, front? I'm glad you didn't go all tiddly-wampus on the road or, get into an accident or anything. Philip, he liked my 5B joke.
Your 5B?
Yeah, you said you've done a 5K. I said I did a 5B, like 5 blocks. Nate, how are you today? How was your Mondays?
We used to go for
Rear right.
bike rides and stuff before you were a disabled man.
It's true. I do enjoy it. Maybe we can find a bicycle.
You just
with
need one of those
I
recumbent.
need a bicycle with a whole seat because
Yeah.
with my spinal issues, sitting on a seat that only you balance your coccyx on, it just doesn't work for me anymore.
Yes.
I tried to remember. I was like, I'll try and do our stationary bike in Saskatoon. I was like paralyzed for 2 days after. Rear right. Oh, started to veer and shake. I'm sorry, bro.
Ooh.
I actually had my front main bearing on my front driver's side tire of my truck replaced, and if it apparently was like tire fall off bad. So luckily the day we decided to take it to the tire place, we
We
put
got
on
there
the
fine.
put on the hazards and drove slow just
Yeah.
because I was like, I'll be careful.
Yeah.
I'll be a little careful.
And then we got it in. They're like, yeah.
Very busy Monday, and my Tuesday's going well so
That's
far.
good.
Yeah, they said it'll be about $1,000, and I said, and I'm guessing that it's not drivable without that. And they're like, no, definitely not.
We had a pretty busy Monday yesterday too.
Super buzzy.
Super buzzy. Yeah. We were buzzing around the town. Big old town.
Yeah, we actually.
We had to get sawdust. We had to return some bottles.
Yeah.
Had to get some groceries.
I like to set myself at least one big tasks, and it usually involves Krissy having to do it with me. And so, it's all I can kind of handle. And so Saturday, we went to the dump. That was our big thing. Yeah. And hey, Violetta.
Hey, Violetta.
You are 5 minutes late,
Yeah.
if that. Not even late. You're always on time. Sunday we did a bunch of no, that was Monday.
Yeah. Yesterday was laundry. And then
Sunday, what did we do on Sunday? I know I had to get a bunch of water. I went and got a bunch of water.
We did something on Sunday. Wait, were we maybe just lazy and watched Dragon Ball?
No.
No, we
there's
did something. I can't remember what it was, though. It was something. We had some sort of chore on Sunday morning that we did.
Yeah.
It didn't involve Adina because everything's closed.
Still driving home. I'll drive safe. Weird. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
Monday we did laundry and we had to go into town and replenish some of our supplies. There's a water advisory. There's a water advisory. The twitter.com link still works.
Yeah, it's still like Twitter,
What
but it's just all the stuff is like X.
You know what? That's just a bunch of nipple eyes.
Now that nipples have eyes, I can sing my
A song about nipple eyes.
X.
Xavier. I can't believe. I mean, I guess they're not going to get rid of it, but I assumed that they would at least convert every Twitter link to an X link.
What I think is so funny is how Elon Musk is like, X is
Look at
gonna
this
officially
handsome
be on
man.
black mode because black mode is the best mode. There are some people that can't use black mode visually, they can't you can't just do that. Not everybody can use dark mode. For like whatever visual reason.
I can't remember what visual condition it was. Look at this handsome
tire
man.
is bad, Mr. Levity.
Mr. Levity, that's a blown tire I did see one. Yeah, like it looks like you ran over a spike strip. Was like the Scotland FBI after you?
Do they have real bad roads?
MI6? Was James Bond?
Are their roads Saskatchewan like?
I think James Bond like drove in front of him and threw out a tax
There was
out of his
something
muffler.
in the road. Clearly, that tire bad.
It was
Bad
fine
tire.
when we left. There was something in the road. Yeah, I mean, tell Charlotte to not drive through fences and I'm just kidding. Yeah, that's intense. I'm really glad that you guys are all right. Last tire that blown was my cousin's when he called me at a random time and when we used to live.
Oh, it was like 4:30 in the morning.
Was it that early?
It was really early. It was either like 4:30 or 5.
See, that's Philip. You didn't recognize him without a wiener in his hands, but that's Philip.
And yeah, they called you to see if you could come change their tire on the side of the highway. No, not the highway. It was like it was the big road in Saskatoon.
Yeah.
And your back had just recently, like, I think you had just recently gone off with your back too.
Yeah. Oops.
It's not a great time for you.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah.
There we go. 10 minutes from home, man. That's about when it happens. They say most accidents happen 10 minutes from home.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, I'm almost home. And then luckily it happened 10 minutes from home. Yeah, it thankfully, hopefully it didn't cost you an arm and a leg. I don't know what prices are for stuff in a populated area.
Do they have like CAA or that kind of thing? Or AAA? Was that AAA? Is that what it is?
Yeah, we have CAA.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like the Canadian Auto Association. Actually, I assume that's what it stands for. I can't say that 100%.
Canadian Automotive Association.
It sounded like science to me. And then AAA would be American Science Blindness.
Yeah, I think AAA is American.
American Auto Association.
We have CAA here.
And AAA is a thing. It's what we use. It's awesome. Alcoholics Anonymous.
That kind of reminds me of like a random like acronym differences between Canada and the States. So in the States, there's the FTC, which is like the food.
Oh no.
I can't remember exactly what
FTC won't let me be or let me be me, so let me see.
But here especially in the prairies, we also have the FTC, but it's like a farmer bank.
Federal Trade Commission.
Yeah. And then if you look up FTC...
Yeah, Federated... Oh, wait.
Saskatchewan.
No, that can't be right.
There's a different FTC, but it's like...
Target shooting? That has nothing to do with it.
It has to do with some sort of bank. What is it?
The FTC...
Maybe put in Saskatoon.
I know what you're talking about. I've seen the building, I thought.
Anyway, I was working at a place.
FTC investing?
It doesn't matter. I was working at a place. And I get a random phone call from a man in the States who got a wrong number. And he was convinced that the place I worked was the place that called him. And he's like, I'm going to report you to the FTC and or whatever. I'm like, I don't know what farmer or like the... And I was just trying to explain to him, like, sir, we wouldn't have called you. Like, we don't have any clients in the States. Like, we would have had no reason to call you. Also, what you're describing doesn't sound like anything that we have anything to do with. And, yes, I know it was you. I'm going to report you to the FCC. And I'm like, I don't know what, like...
FCC.
FCC. Yes.
What's the
FCC. Farm Credit Canada.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to report you to the FCC. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I don't know what Farm Credit Canada is going to have to do
Yeah,
with
the
it.
Federal Communications Commission or the Farm Credit Canada.
That's it, not FTC.
Not
FCC.
sure what the farmers are going to do
Yeah,
for us.
I'm like,
but-
sorry, sir, I don't know what Farm Credit Canada is going to help you out with. And he's, oh, thank you. It's like,
And some people they're just a pack of idiot sandwiches.
yeah.
What are you?
An idiot sandwich.
FCC, that was it.
The FCC won't let. That makes a lot more sense too with the Eminem song, because
Yeah.
I don't know why the Federal Trade Commission would prevent Eminem from selling anything.
We were just getting one letter wrong in the acronym. Can you really forgive us? Sometimes, or can you really, blame us? Sometimes acronyms are hard to remember, so
Yeah.
that's just how she goes.
Sometimes she goes, sometimes she don't. Actually, I'm just gonna bring up that
It's like,
picture you found. I
Yeah.
love how the lights.
when you try to tell a joke, but then you get like one intrinsic part of the joke wrong. Like, growing up, we used to really enjoy, I don't know why, but we used to tell Helen Keller jokes to each other. I don't know. It was a stupid thing that we did. But a lot of the time, and I am not the only one, you go to tell one of these Helen Keller jokes, but then you accidentally substitute Helen Keller for Anne Frank, and then the joke makes no sense because you're meaning to make a joke about Helen Keller, but then you accidentally talk about Anne Frank. Am I the only one? I don't know. I'm not going to repeat these jokes on stream because they're highly offensive. But back in the day, they were funny. It was like the dead baby jokes type thing. I don't know. You had to be there.
Yeah. For those who don't know, Violet is home. Should I see how we look on the TV? F?
Huh?
Huh?
Yeah.
Everything okay? Did the internet plunge?
What's
I didn't
wrong?
see it. It might
F?
have.
What's wrong? I'm so confused.
F usually means like a drop. F's in chat because it's, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's press F. It's a Call of Duty thing. Or someone died, press F to show respect. Yeah. This is it. So every F's in chat when someone dies in a game or something.
I've heard about this.
You're like
yeah.
F's in chat, and it's because of
There's this one scene.
yeah, in Call of Duty, press F to pay respects. So I thought it was hilarious when I found out what it was, because when I first started using Twitch, I mean, I didn't know the things that the kids are saying. Like, what's a kappa? What are you capping me, bro? And so I had to Google some of them, and press F to pay respects was one of my favorite.
It is weird being like in your mid 30s and then like learning slang that the young children use nowadays, and it's like, oh man, I feel so old.
Yeah. There's
Lizzie's.
well, yeah. It's just funny to see the evolution of some of them.
Yeah.
Like cap or no cap. I honestly
All
think it
facts
has
no
to
printer.
yeah, I can't remember what cap and no cap was.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I don't know.
Let's not pretend. We're old. We're boomers. We're not boomers. I feel like that gets thrown around quite often when boomers are actually old people.
Yeah.
You know? But it's just kind of, press F to cap a bukkake no cap. The word vibe is huge now, and my generation used it.
Well, probably.
Oh, yeah,
like,
that's a vibe.
Yeah.
Okay,
the
boomer.
vibes of this, yeah. I can't help but think that's from
Jason.
like new agey shit being kind of disseminated down into pop culture.
I wonder if tubular is going to happen again.
Like things come back in style.
People love tubular.
Full circle.
I
I want to call people squares again.
Squares.
Yeah, square. That's not.
It's hip to be square. Yeah, I wonder where that came from.
It's a circle.
When did they start shitting on squares as part of an advertising campaign? Maybe it's because tubular was so, like, tubular meant cool, and a square is opposite of a tube.
Yeah, I don't know.
But if you fold a square into a tube, we're on to something.
There's a song by Paul. Wait, is it Paul Simon about like? It's about like about the antithesis of being squared. It's about like the moon or like two moons or a circle. I can't remember how it goes. I used to know how to the song. I used to know this song so good.
I do recall because you played me a lot of Paul Simon in the car, Simon and Garfunkel. I usually only knew the bangers, you know.
Looking it up.
You looking it up? I just kind of afterwards that FTC thing reminded me of something that I gotta
maybe it's
I feel like talking to
Paul
not some of
McCartney.
it. I was just dealing with work stuff. You missed Jinjee. He'll be back. I don't know where he is. If is he eating right now? Oh, maybe he went back, Jason. How are you, Jason? How is everybody? Glad your Mondays are... Oops. That's not the right button. That appears to be a hotkey that works with multiple windows. Boop, boop. Jinjee! Nope. He's not there. I don't know where he is. Maybe he's taking a dump. But the FTC, you know, the Federal Trade Commission, total segue, total awesome tubular segue. I don't know if you guys seen the new haunting image. Scone, I know it's been hot in Vancouver Island. Like
Sea Moon.
Sea Moon.
That's the
That's
name
right.
of the
Yeah,
song.
Sea Moon.
Sea Moon.
Because the moon looks like a sea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. Because every time I heard the song, it sounded like I was singing it as seamen. Sea Moon, it sounds like seamen. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Either way, get your wallets out. Because you're about to find out a good investment here. Good investment opportunity, and you can help the U.S. at the same time. But first of all, he did everything right and they indicted him. Donald Jr. Trump. Krissy found this earlier. So this is Dirty Donald's.
Dirty Don.
Dirty Donald's.
I did everything right and they indicted me.
I did everything right and they indicted me face. And yeah, the Kubrick stare, one of the most recognizable directorial techniques of Kubrick. And basically this particular shot was to indicate the complete peak derangement. And someone's like, huh? So Trump was like, you know, people love this. I'm going to start selling merch because I'm going to be the new president. I'm going to be El Presidente again. But yeah, so the Trump campaign claimed in a fundraising email that his mugshot was an attempt to make him look like a criminal in front of the entire world, which technically he is because he was indicted for a crime.
Your eye drops because my eyeball is bothering me.
And they decided to take that beautiful picture and throw it on t-shirts, mugs, koozies, bumper stickers. You know, it was for sale for about 90 minutes after he was released from Atlanta jail on Thursday. The merchandise, which includes $34 US, is accompanied by the words "Never Surrender." Trump surrendered at the jail Thursday and was booked and got released on a $200,000 US bond. But yeah, look at these. I mean, this is a pretty blown out image. Pretty blown out image there.
Never surrender. Never give up.
The problem is like they didn't crop it. They didn't do anything with it. They literally just took the square image and slapped it on like 2 seconds. At least kind of like, I don't know, throw like a vignette on it or like a weird bars or something. Like,
yeah, I mean without glasses, sorry, it's like weird blinky, like
Krissy without glasses? Wow. Here, let's zoom in a bit. Here, what if one day, also Jordan, it's so good to see you. What if one day you guys join stream and this is what we look like? Would it be weird? My bags become more apparent.
I have like I put eye drops in, it's like traveling down my face, down there. I'm sorry, I have to get Kleenex to deal with that.
My husband brought home a huge bag of apples. He said elder an elder patient wanted to give it to the doctor, but changed his mind because my hubby was so nice and helpful.
Aw.
Are you gonna just eat them? Are you gonna make them? Are you gonna sauce them? Are you gonna cider them? Are you gonna
apple pie
them? Are you gonna
apple fritter
them? Good to see us, Scon.
Oh, there's
He's
also
not a criminal until proven guilty.
There's that Russian recipe where they basically make like marshmallow out of apple.
That's true.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
He's the epitome of a child that you watch slap their sister and claim they never did anything when you scold them for it. Yeah, they touched me first. They started it. There was also an image of someone took the Trump face and put it on a meme of someone saying, "Did you poop?" And then the toddler's like, "No."
That was Jason posted that.
Oh yeah, Jason posted that in Discord. Did you poop? No, I didn't poop my pants. Silly hat man.
No, I just have something in my eye. I think it might just be I don't know. I put on a little makeup this morning so that I didn't look tired under my eyeballs, and I think something's worked its way up into my eyeball and it feels irritated.
Oh, it's a beautiful eyeball though, so take as many of those eye drops as you need. So yeah, $47. You can get yourself a long sleeve shirt with official mugshot of the president on it. I was just thinking to myself, do you think our mug do pay the cheese tax every time you cook him when the cheese comes? He does look like cheese. Oh man.
The Great Orange.
The Great Orange.
Isn't there something in Nostradamus about like where it predicts the Great Orange or something?
The Great Oranging?
The Great Orange.
Like the Great Shittening?
Like Big Orange Man.
What
Look up Nostradamus prediction about a orange man. I swear to God. Nostradamus Orange Man prediction.
Okay, one second. Because the rules are the rules and the facts are the facts. Woo! Making the camera big and small like a crazy person.
Ugh, I need it. There's something so in my eyeball.
Wait, what did you say to look up?
Nostradamus Orange Man prediction.
I think I spelled that wrong, but deal with it! Nostradamus birth anniversary. The man who predicted...
Or the Great Orange? I don't know.
Ultra Orange Man? Nostradamus?
That might be it.
That can't be right.
I don't know.
You're gonna have to look these things up on your phone. You sent me down some weird
I know,
goose
no, that's
chases.
where my mind goes. You mentioned
Nostradamus
something.
Orange.
Nostradamus, the Great Orange.
Fire, Mars, and War. That is what comes out.
I don't know.
That's like 3 this morning already.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Just your referencizer is off. You need to recalibrate your referencinator.
Maybe I've just, come from a parallel dimension and my references don't match up with yours. Actually, okay, so really random thing that maybe goes along with that. I used to have a mole, like a little freckle, right here on my finger. And the other day, I went to go look at that freckle on my finger, and it does not exist anymore. It's been on my hand for literally, decades.
Yeah.
And it's now just disappeared from my hand. And I had a moment of what the actual fuck is going on.
Sometimes you think things last forever, and sometimes they
don't. It was
don't.
weird. It was so weird. It's just I am certain I had conversations with my brother about how my niece is in Air Cadets. She's not. She's not in cadets whatsoever. I don't know where I got that fucking idea from whatsoever.
I used to have a mole. I immediately thought of a pet mole, and I'm disappointed.
I'm so sorry.
Well, Jason, interestingly enough,
yeah,
bringing up moles.
Thanks for making a great segue for us.
The segue master, Plubiophilian, naked mole rats. have been part of a new breakthrough, paving the way for extending the human lifespan. They successfully took this longevity gene out of a naked mole rat and put it in a regular mouse. And it increased the health of the other mouse. So yeah, researchers successfully transferred a longevity gene from naked mole rats to mice, leading to enhanced health and increased lifespan. Naked mole rats are noted for their resistance to age-related diseases and have a gene that produces high molecular weight hyaluronic acid, which, when introduced to mice, demonstrated potential anti-aging benefits.
Sorry, I'm listening, but I'm still looking for this Nostradamus Great Orange thing because I know my Fran didn't just make it up.
It might have. You may have to just admit defeat to your Fran. Give it to me. Inject the immortality serum directly into my eyeballs. Walking balls.
Just looking at it, and the words pop right into my Fran.
Yeah, naked mole rats are fascinating, kind of like tardigrades, where they have this ability to survive in strange or uncharacteristically normal circumstances. Our studies provide a proof of principle that unique longevity mechanisms that evolve in long-lived mammalian species can be exported to improve lifespans of other mammals. So I have several thoughts on this, and I've said this quite a few times. This is the danger zone, because
Highway to the danger
if
zone.
anyone tells you from like a, you know, like say Jeff Bezos or like your local government or something tells you that they want you to live longer, it's not for your benefit.
No, they can extrapolate more money off from you.
It's so that if you can live to 165, you now get to retire at 140.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I've always said the two things to be weary of are the AI taking away most of what has been relegated to society that has to work for a living, or, you know, exchange their their labor for money.
Yeah.
When those jobs disappear and all of those people have nowhere to go or anything to do, and the fountain of youth. Those two things, that's when we're kind of, maybe we need to reinvest some funding dollars back into Star Trek future instead of like Star Wars future. So you're saying that we should also just die right now to own the rich people? I mean, technically, Jason, if everybody slept for 24 hours on the planet that had under $1 million, there would be so much money lost to the people that have all of that. It would be insane.
Yeah.
I was actually just reading...
Most rich people are rich because of hardworking poor people.
Yeah. It won't matter if I live to be 10 million years old. Yeah, I don't know. I find that as somebody with a lot of problems, we're more concerned about extending the not the greatest part of your life. You know, like, they don't make you feel like you're 18 forever. They make you feel like you're 65 forever.
Did you read what Philip wrote? Claire Fraser is who I'd remind him of without glasses. Thank you.
Where is that?
You're so sweet.
Oh, I know, because without Claire Fraser from
Claire
Outlander.
Fraser.
Well, I dunno ken.
I'd certainly pick Jamie over what's his nuts.
What is it, Claire?
I appreciate that. I mean,
Claire Fraser
I
from Clan
politely
Fraser.
disagree, but I so appreciate.
Claire Fraser. I
do
see
like
some
your
Claire
scarf.
Fraser. Oh my god, my wife watches that all day, every day. This conversation is too socialist. I love it. Trizzle, did you watch it with
the newest
her?
season. We need to watch the
It's
newest
caused
season.
so much trauma in my life.
Only the ending of season 1 caused you trauma.
I have just got out of the shower and now I have to poo. This is very upsetting. Why? Oh, you'd rather first and then shower? I get that.
I mean, that makes sense.
Freaking dinna ken.
I dinna can.
Freaking Claire dinna ken. I see it.
I mean, I don't, but thank you.
But yeah, naked mole rats. They live in like
I don't watch
underground
drama.
with no
I
eyes.
do tend to look up when the breasts are out. There's a lot of that in Outlander.
That's true. Honestly though, and Jamie's chest. The season 1 was like, my brain has been changed forever. Philip knows what I'm talking about. Speaking of changing your brain forever in the wrong way, as well as naked mole rats who live in the dark because their eyes don't work. It's happening on Twitch. On freaking Twitch.
On the Twitch.
Apparently the new thing to do, the new challenge type, instead of this, it used to be like, draw on yourself or stay awake for so long or whatever. Now it's locking yourself in a dark closet for multiple days while people pay to torture you.
You should let me get eyeliner and draw like little cat ears on you right here. You'd look cute. We could do that for you. How about that?
Your hair looks nice today. Also, I'm telling you from Mr. Lev because I'm sure he's thought it already. So, this particular person didn't, apparently people are trying it and they're failing because,
this is fucked up.
Yeah, like at 25 hours, people donated to make it as difficult as possible and they stopped. So this person, I believe, has over 36,000 followers. And he's only one of, like I said, several people trying to do this. Another Twitch streamer has put himself in a closet and it only costs 25 cents to flashbang him. If he quits, he'll total his car. So this is taking us over to X. So this is the image, right? So using bits, 750 bits, a water shooter goes off. TT, how is setting off this bright light when you're in the dark 25 cents and TTS is 50 cents? Ping pong ball shooter leaps. The other ones I seen, the guy had his wife. She would open the door and throw water. Oh, here it is. Or oh, that sounds like TTS we've gotten before. So doing this for 25 hours is literally a form of torture.
Yeah,
right?
This is like shit they do at Guantanamo Bay, probably.
So the reason, Jason, that this is a thing is because of the de-evolution of entertainment in general. Like, the NPC thing is the epitome of stripping the human out of the human you're watching.
Violetta wants to know, what is a flashbang?
Oh, here, I'll keep the video playing and you can see.
Isn't it basically when they like
so a flashbang is technically
that.
God damn it. So I don't think he's actually setting off grenades. It's more of just like it's on some kind of, in this giant electrical hazard. Yeah. In this giant electrical hazard somewhere is some kind of super bright light. But yeah, in watching Dragon Ball Z, there's one thing that we know for sure, and that is that the solar flare works every time.
Yeah, every
it's
time.
100% only attack in Dragon Ball, never misses. It's like 5 for 5.
Yeah, 5 for 5.
Yeah, we've watched like.
We watched all the Dragon Ball. We're like 130 episodes into Dragon Ball Z, plus all of the movies that go in when they're supposed to go in. We're pretty deep in the lore.
See, Scon knows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Solar flare has worked every time. Kamehameha's got like a 2% hit rate.
Solar flare always works.
Solar flare, 100% every time. I don't know why they don't use it all the time.
Yeah.
It's insane. That's not good for the eyes. Yeah, I know. So what's kind of happening is
We will probably watch it dubbed. Not gonna lie.
Subbed?
There will be no
Oh.
subbed watch in this house.
How many episodes for a solar flare? With TN, DBZ's without TN, DBZ's world would be fucked. Yeah, we are just got to the Trunks Android stuff.
The Trunks saga.
I actually, one of the things I was saying I really enjoy about this one is I can actually follow it. Like, we've watched quite a few things now. You know, One Piece, Inuyasha, fuck, I can't even remember them all. Attack on Titan, the Full Metal Alchemist, Death Note.
I've made you watch a lot of it.
And some of them I have a really hard time remembering who did what or when something happened
or their names.
But with Dragon Ball, I'm doing good. I got it.
But it's easier because they're all like themed. So at Planet Vegeta, they're all kind of like plants. You know, Vegeta, vegetable. Napa, cabbage.
We learned
Bardock root. Kakarot, carrot. Raditz, radish.
We also learned that in the initial inception of Planet Vegeta, it was called Plant.
Yeah.
Planet Plant. So, Evan, my name is Jason, in case you forgot. Hi, Jason.
When you say the Canadian intro, are you talking about the one for Dragon Ball? Because the intro and outro for Dragon Ball in English, like, fucking slap. No jokes. Those songs fucking slap. They're good. Oh yeah, nut-scented alien. That's Evan's favorite line.
Oh, fuck.
From the original Japanese outro on Dragon Ball Z, there is a line in the song that
I wonder
says,
if it's on here.
nut-scented alien.
Yeah. So, how we've been consuming it has this part in it where it says, flying at you.
A nut-scented alien.
A nut-scented alien. Now the question is, who is the nut-scented alien? This is on the Dragon Ball fandom, so you know it's real. TLDR, Frieza smells like nuts?
What?
What are we talking about here?
What?
So this person actually went into depth with it. The most obvious choice would be Raditz. Why would Raditz smell like nuts? However, since Goku is Saiyan as well, then why was it never mentioned that he smells like nuts? The second most obvious option would be Piccolo, but same as Goku, it was never stated that he indeed smells like nuts. The third one would be Frieza or one of his soldiers, but Frieza's more fun. Frieza smells like nuts. Oh, is this it? You can check the lyrics for yourself.
There you go.
Zenkai power? Yeah, that is what it says.
Violetta thought I said Vegeta and not Vegeta.
Come on. Do you think I'll be able to actually find...
We're not scented aliens.
Because I kind of need to hear it now. I'm going to search for it. However, you're not going to be able to see exactly what comes up.
Not scented alien.
Not scented alien.
DBZ.
Wasn't it just Dragon Ball? Oh no, it was
Dragon
DBZ.
Ball Z. Yeah.
Who is the nut-scented alien? The final song is about sex? It's got to be this one. Oh no, here it is. This has got to be it.
Oh, my balls!
Oh, my balls!
Yeah, this is definitely it.
We're not going to listen to the whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I doubt I would get clapped from this channel with 47 people, but...
Go subscribe to them.
Oh wait, we need... Oh no!
Oh, no. So
Or maybe they include them.
Yeah, sometimes they're just there.
No! Listen though. So right there it's saying nut-scented alien.
They do say, the only thing in English though is alien.
Yeah.
But in Japanese they are saying nut scented alien.
Yeah. This one says it has lyrics.
Oh.
I'm glad we brought this up because I've been thinking about
Me
it
too.
and I didn't know how to bring it up without sounding like a really weird person. Do you
Um,
guys know about nut?
But Trizzle did ask, is there a reason Goku's wiener's out in the beginning?
It's always out.
There is so much Goku wiener in Dragon Ball. It's
Only as a child, though.
yeah.
Not
yeah.
that that's...
No, and I mean
It's just, I mean, you don't...
They don't show it when he's an adult.
It is fine.
But they show it when he's a little boy.
It would be fine if they showed nudity in all characters, in a sense of like, you know, there's no shame in nudity.
They also really like talking about Bulma's panties. So.
But yeah, they show the what would you call it? The sexual nature of a scantily dressed woman, but they never show a specifically naked woman. So it's, you know, it...
Oh, like Marin.
Dragon Ball is really weird like that. He does check under Bulma's skirt. Yeah, I know. And he touches Chi-Chi. That's how he knows Chi-Chi is a woman. When they first hop on the cloud, isn't it? And
I think so.
Pats her on the crotch.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, technically they're both kids, but it is written by adults. Yeah. Let's remember this part. It's written by adults. I'm all right with Bulma's panties. It's hard. I know I'm looking at it. Ah, fuck, I poked myself in the eye.
Oh, no.
Shit. Solar flare!
The thing I will say, like, when I and maybe it is also because when I watched it as a kid, it was highly edited, like whatever they showed on YTV. So as a child, you never question these things, but then you rewatched it as an adult, and you're like, this be strange.
Yeah, and I know, I know we are listening or we're watching it through a lens of today.
Yeah,
but
things have changed a lot since the early 90s.
I haven't once laughed or found it entertaining Roshi being a pervert.
Yeah, Roshi's perviness isn't ever really funny.
I'm not saying it's the person who did it's a bad person or anything like that.
That doesn't hold up well today. But
it becomes a little much.
Yeah.
In a sense of like it didn't happen for quite a while.
Yeah.
But then now say Krillin has that girlfriend.
Well, they broke up now.
Marin. And he's like, you can't have a girlfriend. And it's like, because you're training, and it's like, okay. And then it pauses for like 30 seconds.
He's like,
and he goes,
if she kisses me,
unless I get a kiss. And then he tries to jump on her and bury his face in her tits.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. It is fine in a sense of it. We're not those people that look at evering from a new view and condemn everyone of the past, but you do wonder.
Judge. Yeah,
was this actually made for children or adults? Because it was made by adults.
I don't think it was made for children.
Yeah, I think it was teenagers.
That's one of the main things that people get really confused about anime in Western culture, is that because it's a cartoon, they just assume that it's for kids. But in like Japan, that's not necessarily the case. Like a lot of this is adult content. Yeah. And so like if you think of it as like, you know, if it meant for adults, it's not inappropriate really, right? But like the thing is, things are like the Western culture sees it and they're like, oh, it's a cartoon, it's meant for children. Oh, if we're gonna bring it over, we need to edit the shit out of it, and so that way it's appropriate. Like I think of Sailor Moon, for example, and a really good example is when they first originally wanted to bring Sailor Moon over, they made this really shitty, and it's kind of hard to find, but you can find it on YouTube. This really shitty remake where it had live action sequences at the beginning, and then they transformed and they became cartoon, but it was highly Western. Like, we need to find this because it is one of the
just open a new tab.
Weirder.
I was going to make a segue about moms who try to protect their kids too much.
Oh, not yet, sorry.
I forgot to tell you about that article, but it's going to make you mad.
Western.
The whole high school thing was always sits wait for me. High school thing. Oh, yeah.
Yes, this is...
Sailor Moon. Who's Raymona?
Raymona.
Yeah, look like the same person uploaded all of these.
I don't know. Here, can we...
Oh, yeah. This whole thing?
we don't need to watch the whole thing, obviously. I just wanted to kind of show some of this. But oh, you knocked out the camera, the Jinjee cam. So this is what they were originally gonna do to Sailor Moon, and thank fucking God, someone was like, no.
Our solar system was besieged. Wicked Queen Beryl and her evil forces of darkness captured the outer planet and seized their jewels of power. The Princess Warriors ruled Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and the Earth's moon.
Take care, Deadweight.
I want to find more of the intro.
Queen Beryl must defeat the Princess Warriors and obtain the remaining cosmic jewels of power.
I'm gonna fast forward a little bit, but this is like bad shit.
I'm just gonna sneak by.
Everyone's leaving now that I've put this on.
No, just Deadweight. Deadweight's got some meetings.
Have fun at your meetings.
Can I get a spoon?
Spoon.
Sailor Moon was surrounded by her closest
That's Sailor Moon.
Princess Warriors, Sailor Mars.
So this is supposed to be an Americanized.
And Sailor
The
Jupiter.
animation is like more Magic School Bus.
Forward to this day.
I'm looking forward.
Anyway,
Hi,
I want to see
Tuxedo
if I can.
Mask.
Sabin Sailor Moon intro.
Sailor Moon.
Ah, here we go.
We
This is
all
what we
know
want.
that Yajirobe is the best.
Yeah, Jirobe.
The only pragmatic one.
For the collections of the Library of Congress. Anyway.
Ah, don't touch it. What's
Oh,
that?
sorry.
We were both doing stuff. Oh shit. I wanted to switch back to the Jinjee cam. There we go.
Those do look cool though, whatever that is. Let's pause this nightmare.
We're probably gonna get freaking clapped.
Oh, probably. Anyway,
If you see this at a later date and this whole section is missing,
it's because we got clapped
it
for
does.
it.
Clap, 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 clap.
I hate the real kids. Yeah, so that was what they wanted. Yeah, didn't you see the live action people?
Oh yeah, sorry. Live action is just.
It reminds
It's a bad
me of,
idea.
It reminds me of those early '90s commercials for like that board game where it was like talking on the phone, like Girl Talk or whatever it was called.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember it? I can't remember what that was called, but that's what that reminds me of. Anyway, what Girl Talk? Yeah. The West tends to ruin a lot of things when they bring over Japanese anime. Is the point of that?
The 90s board game, Truth or Dare. And the real scary part is it was on a party line, so your parents could pick up the phone at any time.
I guess you could argue that they made Power Rangers better, yes. They did. You know how Power Rangers worked, right? It was
Yeah.
like footage that they took from a different, completely different show and then re-edited the fighting sequences and reshot like the yeah, you put those like on as like zits or whatever.
Shut up. When you're like pretending to be a teenage girl, you're putting fake zit stickers on your face.
So that way it's like embarrassing talking to boys or whatever. It's been so long since I played this game. But this game has similar vibes to the intro of that song. Like color scheme wise, like aesthetically similar vibes.
That is...
Yeah. That was fun. Very much a tangent. I'm sorry, today has very much been like random tangent shit from my head.
That's fine.
I apologize for that.
I don't think anyone's complaining.
I hope not. Except for that, maybe that one person that complained.
Well, guess what? Guess what? They can
Yeah.
Who complained?
The one person that
Oh,
complained.
yeah, just on a short,
Yeah.
someone commented. What did they say again?
It was on our Taylor Swift video.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Your Taylor Swift video has 12 views because
We're being negative
we
about
shit
Taylor
on
Swift.
Taylor Swift.
And she's the biggest artist in the world right now. And I'm like, or we only have so many views on that video because we don't have a lot of viewers in general.
Yeah, because like the 5 people that hang out with us watch the live stream, so they don't watch all the freaking weird edits.
Also, no hate on Taylor Swift. I'm just hating on the liberal government.
The government should not help you go to a Taylor Swift concert.
No.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Unless
They should interfere with like Ticketmaster.
yeah, like they should stop monopolies that can charge whatever the fuck they want, and then they have to, instead of being we have such a janked ass system that we can't tell a company, like, so for example, we have what's called Dollarama. I mean, I think Dollar Store, Dollar
Tree.
General.
There's
all
a lot
that
of different
stuff.
types of them.
And we have what's called Loblaws. Loblaws owns Superstore, and it's all from one family, the Weston family.
Yeah, and they used to own a bakery called
People
Weston's.
are posting pictures how Dollarama has spaghetti for $1, and at Superstore, the grocery store, it's $3. And the government had Galen Weston, who inherited this company, come to the Supreme Court, and they said, like, what the fuck? Why can't you make your groceries any cheaper for people? And he basically...
He basically made the argument that, well, we had somebody come in and evaluate to make sure that we were actually making, I as the owner am making the right amount of money. Like, because he just gave himself a raise.
Yeah.
And so basically he made the argument of, we can't afford to give everybody an increase, but my wage increase is justified
All
in
of their
accordance with like what
executives.
other CEOs earn.
Yeah, and they said record profits year over year over year. And it's like, you are single-handedly monopolizing and starving people to death. How can you justify this? Well, my grandpa gave me the company, so fuck you. It's just, as a country, as a system, we can't tell people where, like, you should be a good person or strive to be. So instead they have to, the government's like, well, rebate programs, and yeah, gas is, you know, it's going to cost you $200 to fill up your moped, but in 6 months you can get a rebate for $100 on that. It's like, why
There's
not?
no reason that companies need to be making more money than they did the year before. The only reason they push for that is because of the fucking shareholders. And
Yeah.
that's what pisses me off. Like,
The inverse relationship of work and value is so flipped, where the people working the hardest and provide the most value are the least important, which is so opposite. The unchecked greed is insane. And the fact that we pretend that Walmart is a good company that cares about people because they ask you at the till if you would like to donate to Telemiracle,
and
you
then,
can fuck off.
Yeah, and then billionaires act like they are entitled to your labor to make them money. And that's what pisses me off.
Like when Elon Musk says, well, people won't sleep in the office like they will in China because they're just fucking lazy.
Yeah.
No, it's because the one intangible, unrecoverable item that I'm giving you is time, and you're treating it like it's shit on a shoe. And
well, I just think of, I was working at a place and I expressed to HR my excitement for the weekend, and her response to me was, you telling me that you're excited for the weekend tells me that you don't want to be here. And I'm like,
Yeah,
or
don't
I
wanna be
enjoy
you.
my own personal time, you dumb bitch. Like, I don't know. I just,
Yeah, whatever happened to everybody's working for the weekend
Yeah.
and music like that? Like it's because the psychological stuff has been co-opted to try and like Stockholm syndrome you into feeling bad about work
Yeah.
when you're not at work. Like, oh my god, someone might have sent me emails I didn't answer. Well, in reality, their problem is probably very small.
there's
in
no
the grand-
reason why I, as a minimum wage employee, should take as much interest in the company as the person who owns it.
Yeah.
I'm there minimum wage, doing my shit, showing up, leaving.
Yeah, it's true. Unless you make me a shareholder,
Yeah.
that's kind of what they used to do. Is you used to be able to be shareholders so that you were kind of involved in the growth of the company. But then what had happened was now every company has no capital, and they reach out to all these 12 crooked assholes and say, how much money will you give me for this? And they say, well, I'll give you this much, but I want that patent. And then someone goes, well, so it's just fucked up. You want to see a shirt design I'm going to sell in Conservative Town Craft Show soon? Maybe?
Yes, I do.
So also Trizzle made that a reference to, I'm fine with them buying fudge rounds, but no damn T-Swift tickets. And that's in a reference to that Ginger fuck who wrote that song that he went...
Yeah, the right is kind of co-opted, and then he came out and he's like, I'm actually
I'm not a
right-wing."
conservative, yeah. All of these
We haven't listened to
Republicans-
the song, so I don't really know.
Well, we've heard
Yeah.
the lyric, him sing the lyrics that people are upset about.
Yeah, the problematic bit.
Which shows just how he doesn't understand the systemic issues with obesity.
Yeah.
He
calls out like fat people on welfare or whatever, and then saying that the government's worried about like
take care, Jason.
Minors, but not like minors on an island.
Yeah, he's saying I wish the government cared more about coal miners,
right,
than
like minors,
little
like
kids
young people
being abducted and sold into sexual slavery on an island somewhere.
So right, yes, correct. So, like, some weird mixed messaging in that song. I can understand why the right co-opted it. It's like the right co-opted the song, "This land is your land, this land is my land." That song was written as, like, kind of meant to be, like, a fuck you to capitalist conservatives that think that they can own land. Like, it was meant to be kind of like a hippie, like, anti-owning land song. And then the right was like, yes! This land is your land. This land is my land. This was meant for you and me, mostly me.
Yeah, I mean, and that there's a history of doing that, right?
Yeah.
And when history's written by the winners.
And that song was basically written to be like, that kind of mindset is not good about like land ownership.
Yeah. This is going to be Trizzle's t-shirt design.
Trump
America guns.
That'll sell well.
Trizzle, I don't know if you've seen it, but they're selling Trump sold images with this mugshot and the words never surrender under it as he was surrendering to the police in Georgia. It's just, and the fact that, so lately what we see a lot of is the people running other than Trump too, right? That Vivek or whatever.
Ramaswamy or something like that.
I don't fucking know, man. He's
weird.
He's
just like, he reminds me of a little yappy dog who won't shut up.
Like, as much as I feel sorry for America having the choices they do, we also don't necessarily have the greatest of choices.
This is true.
But at least we have like 4 people to
But
choose from.
the reason why that exists is because we've both set up a system where the only way you can run is to have a lot of money.
Yeah.
So,
and yeah. But yeah, it's, I don't get it. I don't get
if being rich weren't the bar for entry into local politics, I'm sure there would be a lot more honest people involved in local politics.
Speaking of which, in a weird segue, what if they weren't raised right and they do weird shit like grab soccer players by the face and give them unwanted kisses. And then the whole country goes, whoa, bro, you can't do that. That's fucking assault. And the player comes out and says, yeah, that was assault. And their mom says, I'm going to go on a hunger strike until you stop being mean to my son. So the mother of the soccer chief, who, if you didn't know,
she's, oh my God.
Spanish, I'll just put Spanish mouth kissing
Soccer.
And
you'll find it.
Yeah, hopefully this isn't. Yeah. So FIFA suspended the head
soccer chief.
What is he? The head of the commission?
The
chief Spanish soccer official. Where's the part where he? Yeah. So they won a match. He grabs this woman, and fucking kisses her on the mouth. And so everyone obviously was fucking distraught.
Mm-hmm.
Spain is refusing to play until something's taken. And the shithead's mom says, I'm going on a hunger strike until a solution is found to the inhumane hounding of her son.
How about her son gets fired and is forced to take some sort of programming about why doing that to women is inappropriate. I mean, doing that to anybody in general is inappropriate. Like, I understand in Europe there's a lot of that, like, face kissing.
Yeah,
dating,
like but whatever.
But I think that's also normally probably
COVID
done between like
shit.
friends. I don't think you would just walk up to a stranger and do that. But to forcefully grab essentially like an employee and kiss them like that on the face is definitely like.
Well, I mean, just
grounds for firing, in my opinion.
Like, just get it together. Like, you can't do that. It doesn't matter what day and age it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, the mother of the Spanish Soccer Federation president, Luis Rubiales, started a hunger strike on Monday in a church in southern Spain in defense of her son, who is under fire for kissing a player during the Women's World Cup award ceremony. Hi, Jane Spitfire. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Why would this official do this? Does she not? Me Too movement? It's just wrong.
Yeah. Didn't we read something else though about how he is quite like pervy?
Apparently,
he's quite the pervy man.
He embezzled a bunch of money for orgies.
Oh yeah, okay, that sounds about right.
This is interesting. Yeah.
Oh, is that another picture of the kiss?
Yeah, here's it from another angle. Hi, I'm working at home on my lunch. Well, it's lovely to meet you, Jane. I'm Evan. This is Krissy. We live in a tiny home in Canada, and we love to be social, have community, just kind of find out what the world's like for everyone else.
Look at news and offer our unsolicited opinions on things.
Yeah, this fucking
orgies with embezzled money are the sweetest kind.
Yeah, so like, I just can't believe that, like, the reason people do stuff like this is because they're too familiar with getting away with doing stuff like this, right?
Yeah.
Me too. Glad to cool beans. Yeah, and this is Jinjee. This is Jinjee the cat. Oh, sorry.
He looked up. Hi.
Jinjee, say hi to Jane.
Jinjee, say hi.
That's the Jane.
Jinjee.
Hello.
Jinjee.
Glad a new person showed up when I said we do believe COVID is real, by the way.
We totally
we're Trizzle's making jokes.
He's coming out to say hi.
Jinjee, you left your spot.
It's because I enticed him. I said, come on out.
Here he comes.
He's our sweet boy, our senior citizen.
He is our senior citizen. Hey, what do you think about the state of California not teaching math till 9th grade? Or this, is that real? That can't be right.
That what? Huh? Why would you do that?
California needs real math. Fly 8. California needs real math imitation, not gimmicks. Huh. Let's see what this is.
How math is
California adopts controversial new math framework. Despite revisions, the document is unlikely to tamp down disagreements. Let's see.
Yeah, if I was a parent, I'd be like, why are you not like out of all the things especially in the States, the weird shit that's going on with your education system right now. Why not teach the math?
So what it's saying basically is math is being taught in a, you know how sciences are taught in a theoretical fashion? They're saying math is taught theoretical and not real world. So the United States has not been teaching math effectively or equitably. We are one of the lower achieving countries, and California is below the national average in its achievement in mathematics. The president of the California Education Board said, "This is an area of great need and change is imperative. The same old will not get us to a new place." The framework is guidance, but not a binding document. It has 6 million students in California between kindergarten. That is 5 times larger than the entire province that we live in.
Our province has 1 million people of all ages.
Long before inquiry-based instruction. What does that mean?
I mean, like, I can understand.
They said too many immigrants and kids of color hard to learn. I thought California was supposed to be
more progressive.
I know they do have a lot of people. Listen, I hear all kinds of crazy stuff on NPR radio and podcasts too.
Ooh, enjoy your rum raisin.
Who's got rum raisin?
Jane's getting rum raisin ice cream. That's
Lucky.
like one of your favorites.
Violet, what? Yeah. Okay, getting my rum raisin ice cream. Oh, wow. Fantastic choice. I like maple walnut, but I'm Canadian, so I might be impartial.
I like tiger, but I'm
yeah,
Canadian,
that's
so
probably.
I might be impartial.
Are they saying we ain't good at it, so F it?
That's basically.
There's got to be something else. The sequence starting in 9th grade should have options other than calculus? What does that mean?
Like, I can understand maybe changing. There's a freaking fly in here. The way in which you teach math, because I know that that's evolved since I was in school. But no, stay where you are.
Ah!
Oh no!
Did you smoosh?
No, I didn't get it.
You might have.
No, I
you didn't.
It flew away. I saw it fly away.
They said it would needlessly force students who want to major in science to double up with an extra math course. It said something about calculus. It's a progress that the writing team now acknowledges the need for better pathways to calculus. What does that even fucking mean?
So basically what I'm getting from this article is California has been sucking at teaching math, so instead of trying to make it better, they're just not going to teach people math till 9th grade. Is that a kind of slightly correct understanding of the situation?
I'm not 100% sure. I think that's what it sounded like to me.
Jane says I sound right.
Ugh. I can't believe this. I hope this woman gets so hungry that she eats shoes.
Who are you talking about?
Sorry, I just was this fucking Spanish
soccer
thing.
Okay, you stopped commenting on what we were talking about.
Sorry.
Okay, gotcha.
My brain went a little tiddlywampus.
He does this to me sometimes where he'll start talking to me about something and I'll be like, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. And he'll have like had a whole conversation in his head, assuming I've been privy to his thoughts. And then will start to include me in the conversation about 3/4 of the way through, and I will just be so confused.
California is. Let's see. There's a little 3-minute.
California is in the process of updating the way we teach math for K through 12th grades.
The Stanford professor who's revising it received a lot of hate mail after Fox's Tucker Carlson blasted her on his show. Political reporter Morgan Reiner spoke to her today about these recommended changes. She joins us live from Sacramento with more.
Sorry. It's using too much internet. We live in Jane, we live in the middle of the woods in a tiny house, and we use Starlink, so I gotta set this to 1080p or else stream is totes gonna crash.
Krissy on Rogan went. What's so funny is we used to listen to Joe Rogan, and then basically when he switched over to Spotify and got really anti-vax and moved out to Texas and seemed to like kind of drink the conservative Kool-Aid, we were like,
honestly, nope. I just want Jamie to ditch him and make his own show.
Like I've said multiple times, it's almost really nefarious. Like I'm glad that we were able to kind of approach everything with the mindset that we did, because I could see how so many people would have, especially during that time at the beginning of COVID, very easily gotten suckered down some right-way conspiracy ways of thinking, especially if you were just kind of a general fan of Joe Rogan like we were. And like I enjoyed some of the conspiracy stuff that he talked about, like in regard to like the younger Dryas and like, you know, the pyramids.
Sometimes
and like when
people...
he had like that Graham Hancock on, like that kind of stuff we really enjoyed listening to him
I love conspiracy stuff. But, like to entertain it, not to necessarily believe it, but Joe Rogan, what happened was he started taking whatever workout stuff that other people take that makes their brains stop working properly. So beware of that, whatever that may be.
Jane, I am part Swedish, so I don't know if that...
She was from Sweden. Oh. The Swede.
Yes, I am.
Let's see what he has to say.
Heather and Carlo, the idea is to make math more relatable for kids. For example, if I'm a student, how much do I need to be making in my future career in order to afford a house in a city where the average income, or the average household rather, is X amount? The questions can also be about social justice issues, and that's what got her on Tucker Carlson's show. It's an update that
I'm doing my best not to say anything already.
Yeah.
Every 8 years.
In many classrooms, students are working through short, narrow questions all the time. They're not engaged. They're not interested.
Stanford University professor of education Joe Bowler is writing the new mathematics framework.
The social justice angle is one that has been blown up. It's not about part of what we're recommending. But what we're saying is, of course, mathematics can be used.
Silly Hatman found out you were...
We went to university together.
Hung out at the bar.
Yeah.
They're hanging out at the old bar.
Issues in the world.
The wage gap, for example, could be a math problem. Women earn only 82% of men's wages for the same work.
Numbers are racist. Kill them. It's lunacy.
900
I really don't like Tucker Carlson.
Cucker Tarlson.
Cucker Tarlson, that's what I call him.
For several reasons. One, stating it punishes higher achieving students by limiting gifted courses.
I'm actually secretly omnipotent, and I know everyone.
Sorry, I think they just said...
Gifted courses. I spent an hour working in the math and science sector, penned an open letter opposing the framework for several reasons. One, stating it punishes higher achieving students by limiting gifted courses. I spent an hour trying to call people who signed the letter.
I know they got a lot of pressure to sign that letter, and actually most STEM departments in California, most of the people did not sign it.
She said the framework does the exact opposite.
People think that what we're saying is, if you're high achieving, you now have to do the exact same work as students who are lower achieving, and we're not saying that at all. We're saying let's open up these pathways so more kids are able to get to higher levels.
So she says instead of testing students as early as 4th grade to determine a math path for them through high school, she said at the very least districts should push the test back to 8th grade.
Unfortunately, once we decide you're on the lower level path, there's no turning.
What?
Now Bowler is revising another draft that's going to be released to the public in January before it goes.
So because they criticized children too early in life for their um, attention to math, they want to push it back so that they don't railroad kids in the wrong lane.
I don't know.
So they are intentionally making kids into undereducated adults so they won't be able to go to college and work. That's what they want.
That's certainly not the answer.
So what they want, though, is that as much as they want people to achieve, they also want people to serve cappuccinos and shovel shit. You know what I mean? Like, that's why they don't want people to have a choice in if they can have to keep an involuntary pregnancy. Because that child will potentially work a $35,000 an hour job and be happy to live in 100 square feet.
It's like I said earlier, rich people got rich not through their own hard work, but through the hard work of poor people. Ultimately, that unborn child represents labor that rich person can make money off of.
Yeah, well, it's just, I don't know. Eventually, all that's got to happen is all the people who think they can, just put their nose to the grindstone and make $10 million, eventually they'll realize it's not possible anymore. You can't just invent like a slap chop anymore and become a fucking billionaire. And then, eventually people go, wait a minute. They don't pay taxes? Trezzle, you turkey.
We did hear that Hawaii is going to sue the electrical company for... Which, good for them. It's up to the electrical company to maintain safe infrastructure so this kind of thing doesn't happen.
Well, especially a very interesting aspect to that is increasing heat causes increasing air conditioning and extra stress on electrical grids in general. So the fact that like we have, so Alberta, where Silly Hat Man is, they're having grid problems right now because of all the heat coming from BC, and they can't keep up with the amount of electrical generation.
I read that Canada, from the forest fires, has released 97 billion tons of carbon into the ozone within the past. And I mean, it's not like we were doing it on purpose, but like the country's on fire. So
yeah, I mean, we don't like to say, we don't like to. When the forest fires come up, we like to say, see everyone, climate change is real. And we don't want to say like our stuff is creating all this smoke, because it's not just Canada that's created the problem, right? But a lot of people in America right now are kind of like, nuke Canada to stop the forest fires. And I like to say, even if where you live you don't experience a changing climate, other places are, and those other places will somehow cyclically affect you in some way. It's been bad times. Yeah,
the poorest countries that will be the most affected by climate change.
That freaked me out. Now the fires, I think the fires are from there could very well be people starting fires. Like, look at those ones, like California almost got burnt down, and at the end of it, I don't think anyone expected them to say the words of, it was a baby reveal. Like we shot fireworks and burnt down all of California.
Surprise, it's a boy.
It's a boy. Are people in the States saying it's Canada's fault this is happening? Well, I've seen some of the heavy right-wing stuff about how Canada is a huge part of that, the climate change problem because of our forest fires. But
we heard that Hawaii still has like about 800 people they're still trying to find.
I heard a lot of people phoned in saying I just wasn't in Hawaii or something, but not 800. But we tried to save the environment in several ways in Canada. Plastic bags, no. Plastic straws,
no.
Ne pas. However, a company or a place in the land of the Dutch in Belgium determined that the straws we've been using that everybody hates,
those goddamn
are also
straws.
bad.
I would think that the dyes that go into most of them are probably not good.
So not only are the straws likely not likely biodegradable, they're also vectors for chemicals considered hazardous to human and environmental health.
God.
So Canada, for all of you that don't know, this is like the #1 runner and gunner. Get rid of all the straws. They are destroying the world. And a new study in the journal Food Additives and Contaminants examined more than 20 different brands of plant-based straws.
I'm holding on to these for like the world's end. This might be the last package of plastic straws available in Canada. I'm keeping them secret, and I'm keeping them safe.
I mean,
they're not so secret anymore.
Yeah, they're a relic. We know they'll last forever.
Yeah, they're like the nice Slurpee straws, the nice big thick Slurpee straws.
The big thickens.
Yeah. Gotta wash it out.
These eco-friendly plastic straws are not necessarily a more sustainable alternative to plastic straws, concluded a research team based in Belgium's University of Antwerp. The straws examined by the researchers were largely found to be laden with and polyfluoroalkyl substances. PFASs, commonly known as forever chemicals. Yeah, PFAS is that plastic coating they put on everything.
Polyfluoroalkyl substances.
This is not only means that the straws likely aren't biodegradable, but they're also vectors for bad chemicals. They're made from plant materials, often being as more sustainable. However, the presence of PFASs in these straws make it not true. The only stainless steel straws were found to be PFAS free. Who just said that? Someone just said metal straws. Oh yeah, Jane. Oh, I suppose metal straws now. The only thing that scares me is like imagine you're walking with a drink with a straw, or I don't know, you trip, or your elbow's resting on something and it slips out and a metal straw fucking
I do have that. It's like, I remember as a child, it was very...
Sorry, I keep knocking the mic over.
We were told all the time, don't drink a drink on the bus with a straw, because if the bus comes to an abrupt stop, the straw might go through the roof of your mouth, like your palate. And so I have that...
bamboo?
I have that fear ingrained in my brain about drinking from a straw in a car.
Yeah, I know that silicone straws is what they suggest for people with what does like Michael J.
ALS,
Fox have? Yeah,
Lou Gehrig's or
I don't want to, it's not Tourette's, but I know Tourette's does have physical tics.
I
can't remember.
I can't remember either.
He has
Parkinson's. That's it.
That's the one.
What show was it on? He was starred as he guest starred as himself, and he had Parkinson's, but they like wrote it in as like him being kind of a dick, so he would like purposely shake really hard. It was really
that
funny.
Was not Seinfeld, the guy who wrote Seinfeld. Larry David.
Yeah.
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, he guest starred as himself. And like when he's playing himself in the show, his character also has Parkinson's, but they write it comedically. So whenever he's like handing Larry David something, or sorry, yeah, Larry David, is that it? He like shakes really hard and like spills it all over the place, and then he's like, "What the fuck do you want from me? I have Parkinson's, dude."
Yeah, he hands him a pop.
Yeah, and it just like shakes it really hard.
Yeah, and he walks around with like military boots on.
Yeah,
it's funny. I need to use the washroom. Would you like to kind of start?
Oh yes, I'll start telling you about this because I had found this article.
Sorry, let me make it smaller.
Is Philip still around? I think he left. Philippe. The cat is like, what is that sound that you're making?
I don't think we have bamboo for it, right?
No.
If we did, it would be by Jordan.
Jane, we live in the middle of Saskatchewan in the Canadian prairie, so we It is not the right environment for bamboo to grow here. Oh, Violetta planted bamboo in a pot. 3 straws for life. Nice. Okay, so I came across this article. God bless London. They're trying to do the Lord's work by ultra low emission areas, but they're maybe going about it in kind of a weird way. That is, if you want to drive through London and your vehicle is not considered like a low emission vehicle, you have to pay approximately $20 Canadian to drive through, like a one-time fee to drive through. Bamboo grows in Vancouver? I didn't know that. Jordan said that. But yes, go on. Evan can hear you outside, and he just commented when I said... I was like, oh, really? Bamboo grows in Vancouver? I hear a voice outside of... Did Scon say that? I should probably put my glasses back on, because I can't really read. Okay. Oh, silly Hot Man's never heard of this. Okay. So... yeah, if you want to drive through London... and you drive a vehicle that likes to guzzle the gas, you're gonna be paying a little bit extra for it. So London, a global pioneer in pricing schemes aimed at reducing traffic and automobile emissions, is taking another big leap forward today with the dramatic expansion of its pollution charge zone. Now, I mean, I can understand it, but maybe a weird, I don't know, like I think it's in Israel where they kind of have a law where any vehicle on the road has to be under like a certain age. So maybe that might be a more effective way to go about enforcing something like this. Rather than being like, if you want to drive through London and you drive a gas guzzler, you're gonna have to pay like $20 to get through.
They're gonna have to. Not people are getting to a point where they can't afford to just get a low emissions vehicle.
Yeah.
So eventually they're gonna have to help people who can't afford it.
So the ULEZ, or ultra low emission zone, it used to be like the main downtown part of London, but now it's expanded beyond the city center to include all 32 local boroughs. So there is the map of what is now the ULEZ.
Is that a canal?
No, that's what the ultra low emission zone.
I think
Yeah. No, this is the ULEZ.
So is that by that river that smelled like shit forever?
Is by the Thames?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is also not the first time that that England has had to I guess maybe clean up after itself. There was the great stink of 18 something, and basically like the Thames got real dirty from all like the literal human shit in it, and there's the big stink. And basically they started to deal with it when it started to affect the government building. But I mean, are these like my question is like I mean, I would assume it'll impact everybody. I mean, it would have to. I would just be pissed off if there are people who would get away with like not having to pay that fee. Like, for example, if there were well, not necessarily truckers, but like government officials, you know, that kind of thing. But I would assume that it may be paid by tax.
Yeah, like if, say, the Prime Minister's brigade of vehicles, of SUVs, doesn't get charged but uses 10 times more gas than the average person type thing.
I don't know. I can understand.
Sheep shagging. Sorry.
No. I can understand it, but at the same time, it's like one of those things you're like, that.
Like,
I don't know.
An interesting part about it, actually, the article says here too.
Yeah, it's a tax that hurts the poor the most.
Yeah, and it's because of something the poor didn't do.
Yeah,
the poor don't have the money to create the amount of pollution.
Yeah. And
it's
that's the main problem with all of this, like, environmental stuff, is it focuses too much on, like, me as a regular everyday person and the things that I can change. What we need to be more focused on is people like Kylie Jenner taking a 5-minute jet flight across the city because she doesn't want to sit in any sort of traffic, you know?
Yeah.
And so there's levels of for thee but not for me. And oh yeah, that's where
I must end. Thank you so much for coming on in, Jane.
Yes, hopefully we'll see you again, Jane.
Filling us in on how math isn't important for counting the oranges picked in California, out California way.
Out California way.
Hopefully we see you two again. I just wanted to look back up in bamboo. I planted it in a pot because it's invasive. Oh wait, what did you plant? Sorry, Violetta.
Bamboo.
Really?
Yeah.
Could we grow bamboo?
I mean, it wouldn't be zoned to grow outside, but we could probably grow it inside in a pot. It's just we, live in a 10-foot space,
Yes,
so I don't know where we're going to put it.
Yeah, bamboo is, from like the survival shows we watch, it's like nature's giving tree without having to manipulate it a lot, right?
Yeah.
You can turn it into like water
bowl.
bottles, bowls,
cups.
Yeah, like
it's the greatest thing.
People use it they build a house with it and then chop the end off and fill it with water and drink out of it. Like that's pretty impressive. We can't do that right these days without making something that will never disappear. What else did I miss? Yeah, Jane, it's okay to make fun of Philip. He's a moderator. Moderators are made to be made fun of, right? Yeah, Krissy was telling me about this morning, and I don't know. I can't possibly pretend to think that I know solutions to certain problems.
Yeah, I'm not an economist.
I would be like Captain Hindsight and be like, well, you shouldn't have started doing that in the first place.
Yeah.
But it's interesting some of the solutions they come up with. Like
I guess, like, what you could do is, like I said, how in Israel, they have, like, certain laws about, like, the age of vehicles on the road. But if you're going to do that, you need to make sure that there's some sort of, like, trade in money being given to people so that they can afford a new vehicle after they trade in, like, their gas guzzler or whatever, right?
Thank you, Jane. Much appreciated. This is kind of an example of what you were saying there. Maybe not. They seem to be a business owner, so they're not completely. But so because they have 6.4% inflation, and inflation's high in a lot of places. Anna Hills, who's 61, owns a hot boiler servicing company. And they were stuck with a $154,000 bill Canadian, or 90,000 euros. Pounds, whatever. What? For replacing her 2 older diesel trucks. I should be retiring, but I can't. I've got to pay for the loans on the vans, so this has really hit me quite badly. And so that's kind of what I was going to say. After I had said just earlier, they're going to have to help people replace vehicles that they want to be low on emissions.
That they don't want on the road.
But their way to help people is going to be loans.
Yeah.
And all loans do is they take the initial, sting, or, if it's something you can't afford, right? They stretch it out over time. And sometimes, what happened is there was times where they allowed people to take it out over really long periods of time. And also, it doesn't necessarily make things easier for people. It just it's like a wound that never stops bleeding but doesn't bleed a lot.
What makes me sad about this situation is, how I mentioned earlier that it affects the poor the most, and that's the truth. And especially if you think about what's also going on in England right now, and some of the rules that they've made in regards to financial like money from the government that you receive in regards to children, and if
Yeah.
you have more than, I think, is it more than 2 children, basically the government is not going to give you any sort of money for childcare.
Where was that again?
That's in England.
Oh yeah. There's a
And-
new thing.
Yeah, which I think is also the most
I think.
backwards thing I've ever heard my entire life. So if you're gonna like it's just like the
yeah.
party in power is really, really going out of its way to punish the poorest people in the country right now.
Which is interesting because they say the richest people don't have the most kids.
Yeah.
Right? If you also don't.
Well, it's because they can also have access to abortion and family planning.
The problem
and...
is the people who hate the poor also hate immigration and refugees. So if you're just going to be a bunch of pompous turd sacks, you're going to run out of population to do the things you need them to do, right? So I don't know. It seems like even the uber wealthy are working against themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like,
it's because they want to be able to exploit every amount of capital from the people that they can.
it's just...
They feel more entitled to my labor than I am.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? And they'll tell you that you're lazy.
Yeah.
You're lazy for not wanting to put in the hours that they don't put in.
Yeah. Meanwhile, they're like on a yacht making like handshake deals.
Do you think I want to be eating foie gras on a boat with these rich people? No, that's work. No, just because you write it off as a tax rebate doesn't make it fucking work.
Yeah, Violetta, there was in the UK or I don't know about the UK, but I know in England, they made changes to the child tax laws that basically after, I think it's if you have a 3rd kid, the government does not give you any sort of money for child tax, which is like I don't get it.
You can't,
especially because like there's so like I don't know so much about the UK, but I know like in the States and here in Canada, there's that push for like have kids, help our population grow.
Yeah, like basically they've determined capitalistically there's not going to be enough people to take over when the generation preceding us retire. So they're like, oh shit, then the millennials are going to need even more, so start pumping out Zoomers.
Violetta kind of maybe lives in a bit of a utopia in comparison to where we are, because post-secondary education up to 26 or your doctorate is free.
Yeah, we're not quite as expensive as the States.
But it took me well over a decade to pay off my student loans.
Yeah. We're not quite as expensive, but some may say you might not get the same transferable...
The purpose of higher education over here is to turn you into a debt slave.
Yeah. It's it's kind of like that, what we were just watching a little earlier there about the math in California. They're viewing children as their previous occupations before they even know what they like. I didn't know I liked to do calligraphy until I was like 30.
Yeah.
You know, I went to half a year of business in university before my anxiety forced me to drop out. Because all I knew is like, I'm not supposed to be a doctor because I get grossed out. I won't be a person that can live on doing physical labor because of my body, and businesses and everything. I'll take business. So if anything, I was looking at my future exceedingly bleak, right?
Slovenia, the more kids you have, the more benefits you get. If you have 7, you can retire. Evan, if we lived in Slovenia, I would be having 7 children.
Take care, Chisel. Also, I was just about to say about what you had said about vehicles. I agree. The larger the vehicle you have, the more you should pay. In a sense of, say, carbon costs or whatever.
Yeah, like if you drive a Hummer, for sure.
Yeah.
See you later, Trizzle.
Everyone's lunchtime's over. Well, we only got 2 more things, really. Sorry, I keep doing that. My back is bothering me, so.
The cat's really cute, though.
Yeah, he's such a little wampus. So, we had seen a different article about this. So, in the UK... Where's that picture?
Yeah, speaking of the UK again, Canadian has been killing your people. By nailing you, like,
I
pickling
don't believe
powder.
on purpose.
Well-
So this particular person, Kenneth Law, is in Mississauga, Ontario. And he's been selling a substance that puts people at the risk of self-harm. So where the fuck is that picture? It's like a... Isn't it a curing salt?
Yeah, it is.
Sodium nitrate.
Yeah. A substance commonly used to cure meats.
I don't necessarily like just watching the videos because I don't know if they're going to be...
The UK's National Crime Agency
Clappy.
is looking into
Happy.
the possible connections among 88 deaths over a 2-year period. Officials say they're among the 272 people who purchased lethal substances from Canadian websites.
There's no doubt that it didn't need to be 88. It didn't need to be one.
David Parfitt's 22-year-old son Tom died in 2021 after taking the poison he bought online. He says he's been contacted
Hey,
by
pause this
UK
for a second.
authorities.
Taking it. Why would you buy sodium nitrite to take? It is used to cure meats. What?
It's kind of like
So
unintentional aspects of Tide Pods.
Were they taking it intentionally to unalive themselves?
I believe.
So,
Actually. Where is it? It had the...
So then the question is, was he selling it as straight up like a curing salt, right? So if you're selling it as like a curing salt and then people are buying it to unalive themselves, but you're not... Like, the question comes in, at what point does he know people are buying it for that purpose? And is he selling it explicitly just for the purpose of, like,
This
curing
is
meat?
the motherfucking Amazon link to it right now.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to bring up news articles. It literally just bought up multiple places that
You
I
can
can
buy
buy
it.
nitrate
So
salt.
I have to assume that this man, like, I'm just gonna for the sake of argument, make the assumption that this man was selling it as, like, people want to cure meats.
Neuroscience news.
Weird.
Just
So
might
you're
load.
like curing yourself from the inside out.
I... Come on now. Come on now. This is not even our fault. They must be using Starlink as well. Sorry, I like to try and pretend I'm from New Zealand. I try to talk like Mary from the Flight of the Concords. I'm just...
Because, like, I know I've
Oh
seen
yeah,
it
this
at
even
the...
says too much in the cured meats can cause cancer.
Well, I've heard of that, but that's cancer. That's long-term exposure to eating cured meat. That's not like down in a spoonful of sodium nitrite so that you don't wake up.
Yeah, it is 100% can be used for...
Unaliving yourself.
Sorry, we didn't give a warn people
Trigger
that the
warning.
subject was going to come up.
But then, like I said, that also begs the question, is that man really to blame for the selling of sodium nitrite? Is he just selling it because he's a procurer of sodium nitrite because he really enjoys curing meats?
Well, let's go and see why they would charge. Because he's been accused with counseling. Counseling and aiding.
Okay. So
By
if he's
two
also in
previously
communication with these people.
Let's be clear, we will not tolerate criminal actions by those who prey on vulnerable individuals, the York police inspector said. It's very active and very complex.
So he sent it to at least 40 different countries.
Authorities in the United States, United Kingdom, Italy, Australia, and New Zealand have all announced their own investigation.
So it must be, then that he's selling it to these people and then, coercing them into unaliving them. Oh, it's Violetta said it's also used for making bombs.
Britain. His victims were between 16 and 36.
Yeah, he must be. Yeah.
I think international law enforcement need to look at how they identify and close down this type of criminal activity in the future. Otherwise, it's too easy to supply from one country to another.
UK authorities
You don't
say
even
they
need to
won't
get it from another country. I can literally go to the co-op and buy some.
I guess, I mean, I don't mean this in any particular type of insensitive way, but the United States is restricted doing a search to find out how many people may have bought this with the purpose of self-harm. And every single day, I bet you more people are getting killed by shooting each other. Someone just went into a Jackson County fucking dollar store, or Jacksonville or whatever, and shot people over with a racist manifesto on his computer.
Didn't he actually tell like some white people like to
You
leave?
can leave.
Yeah.
He let them leave.
Yeah, he let white people leave and then shot
So
every person
I
of
know
color.
that it would be significantly different arms of the law, one investigating potential this aspect of things, cyber crime, federal, Interpol, whatever, I don't know these things. And, local gun violence, but like it's interesting.
But you could technically classify this man as a serial killer.
Be looking into cases outside their jurisdiction. Police in the United States,
Like
Italy,
quite
Australia,
literally an
and New Zealand are
international serial killer.
Yeah, I just want to hear if they say. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut. I wasn't saying. The only reason I keep playing is because I'm curious if they're going to say something like, in this chat room on the website, or
investigating. UK police began their investigation in April, shortly before
I guess
Canadian
that's
police
fucking
arrested
suspicious
Kenneth
packaging.
Law. Multiple Canadian forces are investigating the online sales of a lethal substance, sodium.
So this was
Food grade,
what they were buying, I believe. This is the original packaging
that they
on the
received.
original article we seen a couple days ago, where it says it's 99% food grade, used in accordance with your curing recipe to make cured ham, sausages, and bacon. So
Nitrate to people at risk of self-harm in as many as 40 countries. Law has not been named by UK police. Kenneth Law remains in custody, charged with 2 counts of counseling and aiding suicide. He appeared in this courthouse today by video link. What was said was covered by a publication ban. He'll
There was
appear again on September 8th.
a girl in the States that was she, I think, was charged with murder. She basically talked to the guy she was dating or seeing online
I think they turned it into a movie.
Did they? I don't know. But yeah, this one young woman in particular, she had talked another young man into unaliving himself via the internet, and she was charged with.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I said, technically he could be considered an international serial killer. 88 people? That's a lot of fucking people.
It'll be interesting to see what else comes out about it. Yeah, I didn't know it took that route. I
thought maybe it started more with he just ran a website that sold sodium nitrite and people bought it and did things with it. But I mean, if he was coercing people, then very clearly he had nefarious plans.
I do remember something about it in the past, and a picture that we've seen reminded me of what I might have read about. It has something to do with it being an absorbent, like it
probably dry you out from the inside.
Yeah, it's like not good.
Yeah.
Either way, don't take that. But maybe science will help you see in 3 dimensions? Question mark? in the University of Montreal in Canada. Here, scientists identified a key mechanism for nerve cell growth critical to three-dimensional vision. So I'm not going to pretend to explain how this works. As you know, I am not le scientiste.
Jordan, the perfect segue.
Jordan knows.
We should start getting them to rate our segues on a scale of 1 to 10.
We should actually call Jordan, because I'm sure he could explain the science.
Yeah.
So this is a computer fan. I'm just kidding. I don't think. Basically, it's this is, I don't know. We'll say this is normal and not normal.
Like, you have to be able to see through things to be able to see in 3 dimensions.
I just read the words, babe. I just read the freaking words.
Because to be able to see in 3 dimensions means I can see the entire object, front, back, up, down, inside, outside, all at once. So, like I said, to be able to do that, you have to be able to see through things.
Scientists in Montreal have identified a key mechanism involved in the growth of nerve cells that are critical to mediate binocular vision, which allows people to see the world in 3 dimensions.
Because another dimension is time. So unless you can observe time as a dimension, which, I mean, that's part of the human experience, is you can only observe this moment that we're currently experiencing. That's why time seems linear. That's what limits people from being able to, like, because if you were us humans as 3-dimensional beings, because we are, experience time as its own dimension. However, you are only seeing me at this given moment. If you were to see me in all 3 dimensions, you would see me like as both like baby and old dying woman and this current age all at once.
Yeah, like the Donnie Darko slime.
Tube, yeah.
To Donnie Darko slime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a hard time trying to wrap my brain around it, considering there are shrimps in the ocean that can see it already. Those mantis shrimp.
Oh no, they don't see in 3 dimensions. They just see in different
spectrums.
spectrum.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either way, even seeing other spectrums. Like, my brain has a hard time with visualization sometimes of like, what would it look like to look at something in 3 dimensions? Because, you know, it isn't until you get a little
the human
older.
Brain can't comprehend.
Yeah, it isn't until you get a little older that you realize, you can't see. All you see is the light's reflection off of an object, and you only can see 2 dimensions of something, and the shadow is what gives it its shape, right? Because if you took the shadow out of any object, it would look like it was on a flat plane, right? So it's just...
Philip, what you described is very close to what I think.
Someone I know believes time is a dimension that's controllable by other higher beings, so they can see all of time, rewind forward to visit and view, hopefully it's a little better than VHS.
Just having had
Betamax
ghost experiences, there is no convincing me otherwise that like there is something beyond this existence, and that's just simply because I have seen and heard ghosts. And some of those experiences have been shared with other people, so it wasn't just me hearing it. It is a verifiable experience of something that wasn't there. But I do think, like, because I think that we're all expressions of the same energy having different experiences. Like, I think, like, existence is God just trying to understand itself. And we're all rays of that existence. So, and like, because if you think about a battery, the energy that is in a battery, once a battery's been used, that energy never ceases to exist. It's just been transformed into something else. And I believe that whatever energizes the human body is similar in that way. The body is the vessel for the juice. If that makes any sense.
For some reason, my brain...
Oh no, I've gone cross-eyed. I'm so sorry.
My brain interprets it like it takes what you said and it rearranges it to understand it as like, if I wanted to know every facet, nook, cranny, crevice of something, and I had the ability to split myself into a gajillion camcorders to go and get their own shot of this, what I want to experience, and then bring them all in to then understand that, right? Like, it's like saying, if I wanted to go, oh, I'm going on vacation, do I want to go to Hawaii or Jamaica? What if you could go to both and then like split to both, come back as one? I don't know, I mean, maybe I lost myself there.
Yeah, I did not.
But basically, yeah, like, we're all just a perspective that's unique to every other perspective. Yeah, my brain, when I was a kid, I used to try and imagine nothing. But then again, nothing is something. Is it black? Does it have a color? Just try and imagine absolutely nothing. No universe, no planets. Yeah. That's kind of the thing, right? I actually seen an article that they think the universe is actually twice as old as they thought it was, which to me is like, I thought it was infinity.
I read I was watching something, and it was basically describing the brain as the computer that allows consciousness to manifest. And I thought that was a really good way of putting it. Like, consciousness, whatever consciousness is, exists beyond your physical experience, but your brain is essentially the conduit that allows your consciousness to manifest you as a human being or an individual perspective.
I have a really hard time myself marrying things like different dimensions with potentially like a spiritual realm with the, you know what I mean? My brain just has a hard part going, how do they all fit together? And they're probably two sides of the same coin, but that's where my depth of thought kind of starts to disintegrate as I try to think more about it. Another theory is that when you die, you get reborn in your own body again and relive everything repeatedly. Oh God, that would just be awful. I'm trading my body.
I've heard that theory. I've also heard the theory that basically you live every life,
multiple different types.
Well, multiple. No, but I've heard that you live every life until you are me and I am you, and I will experience your existence at some part during my reincarnation cycle. But I think that, like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know, but that doesn't resonate with me on a deep level, so I don't know how much thought I give that.
Yeah, like I said, my brain has a hard time with, say, like, the spirit side of me and the existing in this realm side of me. Like, do I become a tree?
Well, no, you wouldn't.
When I die?
You wouldn't. No, you wouldn't become a tree.
No, I mean, like, my body just becomes a tree and my consciousness is just like around.
I mean, your body will eventually break down and become food for the tree.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I try to tie it together. It's just a lot. If I had a choice of heaven or reliving my life indefinitely with the knowledge of a previous go-around, I'd relive the life.
I'd rather not relive my life. I've been saying for like a very long time, I really want this to be my last reincarnation on Earth. I very much believe in reincarnation. I actually had a really strong dream a while ago that in my previous life, right before this one, I was a child and I died from drowning. And I remember being like, kind of like sad that I had died and I was leaving that life, but also like overcome with extreme joy that I was going to be born to my current mother and father. I don't know. Maybe it's real, maybe it's not. But I very much believe in reincarnation. I guess the way I think about it is because like I do believe in some sort of afterlife, like I said, experiencing ghosts. If the purpose of life is to be able to no longer reincarnate, or like, as Christians believe, go to heaven, but Christians are so want to believe that, like, you know, if you're not Christian in this life, you're going to go to hell. But yet at the same time, God is ever loving and forgiving. Those two things don't reconcile in my head. So for God to be ever loving and ever forgiving, it would make sense for us to be able to live multiple lives. So that way, if, you know, I make a mistake in this life that I need to learn from, I can reincarnate into another life where I might experience a similar situation, but I'm given the option to make different choices. And I believe it's also through essentially the grace of God that we don't remember our past lives. Because if you were to remember your past life and all the shitty things that you did, none of the things that you would do in this life to change it would be altruistic.
Yeah.
And that's what I think.
Yeah, you can't, I have a hard time knowing what to think, and I think that being that I was raised Catholic and told this is how you believe,
Violet, I don't think hell exists.
This is how you're supposed to believe. I've just come to a point where I can't fully commit to anything, so I'm open to anything. And I used to think of that as like a lostness, but it's actually, it's more freeing than you know, just accepting the unknowing a bit in that sense.
What Violetta said, though, is also kind of one of the first things that made me disbelieve in Christianity from like a very, very young age. Like I remember being about 5 and going to church and asking my Sunday school teacher, like, so if somebody lived in a cabin completely isolated from everyone and like never met anyone, just lived in this cabin all by themselves, and never got to hear about Jesus because they lived in this cabin all by themselves, would they go to hell? And she told me yes. And I thought, how can somebody go to hell if they've been completely isolated from everybody their entire life? And then I also came to understand that they believe that all Native Americans went to hell prior to white people coming over and preaching Christianity. And I'm like, once again, what kind of God would make an entire race of people, an entire like continent of people go to hell simply because they live on a different fucking continent? That made no sense to me. So like I said, from a very, very early age, I was like, oh, this is all bullshit nonsense.
Yeah.
But then, like I said, I had ghost experiences, so I was like, well, something exists. I don't know what it is, though.
Yeah. Did you see what Philip said there? I was brought up to believe that ghosts are demons of Satan, tricking us to believe there's an afterlife. But I don't like that. I agree.
But how would they be
That's fucked up.
demons of Satan tricking you into believing there's an afterlife when Christianity preaches that there's an afterlife?
I don't know. Maybe he's not Christian.
No, but...
Maybe he's a Scientologist. Also, when you look up Gehenna/hell in the original translations, the eternal torment is, in my opinion, mistranslated and should just be eternal destruction.
And see, I think the concept of hell is...
I went to the church for donuts.
You bring it on
crackers.
yourself, right? So if you do a lot of hateful things in this life, I do believe that upon death, you're gonna experience those experience, like, I think you go through some sort of life review when you die. Like, once again, I don't know this for sure. This is just what I think. But I do think you go through some sort of life review when you die, and you experience that review from the perspective of the other people that you have encountered. So if you've been a really, really terrible person, once you enter that life review and you start to experience things from the perspective of the other people that you've hurt, that I do believe will be your own hell that you've created.
I think so too. I don't know. I guess, like I said, I just don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. But that's what I tell myself to make myself feel better about all the really shitty people out there.
I don't think we're supposed to know. I think in this version of things, every time we find the smaller atom or fundamental force of nature, we will find another one, and we will find another one, and it will keep getting smaller, because I don't believe that we will be able to fully map or understand exactly what this mesh of, like,
it's beyond our level of understanding.
Yeah, like, for instance, Hayes, the crazy Welshman. Like, how did he ever find us? You know? It's too out of this world. I'm just kidding.
Philip said I could talk all day about religion. His granddad Phillips believed aliens left us here millions of years ago. Like, the movie
Prometheus. I believe that, I mean, this isn't a how or a why, but how Earth ended up with inhabitants was
panspermia?
Yeah, panspermia. Asteroids ricocheting off of other places, other planets or asteroids, and bringing certain building blocks to a place that...
I mean, that's also not to say that maybe that was orchestrated by some higher power, right? Maybe that higher power was like, yeah, that amoeba can be on that rock, and when it does happen to hit that, that'll, like, make some interesting stuff. You could make the argument that the hand of a higher power is involved in that. I don't know. I think it's really funny that, like science tries to be so exclusive from religion, and religion tries to be so exclusive from science, but in my mind...
Sentinel Island, yeah.
I mean, in my mind, a lot of them can kind of go together.
Yeah.
Like, the more I found that I studied Western traditions, specifically Buddhism and Hinduism, there's a lot of stuff in their theology that really kind of goes hand in hand with physics.
Yeah, kind of like Philip just said, I mean, I've never had any accidents or mistakes turn out so impressive as life and existence. But yeah, Violet of the North Sentinel Island, that's a good example of if you never knew.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they don't want to know.
You can't tell me that everybody on North Sentinel Island has gone to hell. Well, that one John Chow guy, or David Chow or whatever, the one who went out there to try to proselytize to these people because he, quote, thought it was the last stronghold of Satan.
Satan!
I mean, yeah, you did deserve to be murdered by those people.
Satan! All I know is that I'm going to be super pissed if it turns out that we live in a reality television.
The entire universe.
The Truman Show?
When decoded, it looks like this.
What does it mean?
It's simple mathematical language that can be understood throughout the solar system. Translated into our language, it looks like this.
This gentleman at 8 o'clock. It's everyone's favorite show, Earth. It's been 100 Galgamars since we first took species from 17 different planets and put them all together on the same planet. What will happen this Galgamar? Tune in Janamon at 8 to find out. It's Earth on Fognal.
Hey, Dan.
Hey, Dan.
I'm afraid that Earth, all of Earth, is nothing but an intergalactic reality TV show.
My God. We're famous!
If that's what Earth is actually like, I mean, it would make sense to me. And then later in the episode... Dan! Later in the episode, it explains that these aliens took species from all planets, like deer, mice, humans, birds, and put them all on the same planet to make a TV show. The only thing about this I just wanted to read before we fully close this is to see the world in 3D, our eyes look at an object from two different parts of the retina.
I forgot that this is where the conversation started.
A thin layer tissue at the back of the eyes that transforms light into biological signals. The overlap between these two fields of vision allows us to determine depth, distance, and speed of an object and make fast, sometimes life-saving decisions. Crucial for this process is the proper growth of the nerves from the eye to the brain. And when these ganglion cells send projections to the optic nerve, they require a balance in the two parts of the retina to create that three-dimensional view. So, I mean, all I know is if they find a way for us to be able to see in 3 dimensions, they're going to find a way to show us ads in 3 dimensions.
It's true.
But when you're hanging out with us, you shouldn't get any ads.
I like money.
What is it? Red
That
Dwarf?
was I was quoting Theocracy.
Yeah.
Everything's
Red
an
Dwarf,
ad.
back to reality when they wake up and everything was a simulation. Yeah, that's...
I remember this when they go into the simulation video game and why am I blanking on his name? The hologram dude.
Reboot?
No, the hologram dude from Red Dwarf.
Oh,
Rimmer.
Yeah.
Rimmer makes his life an absolute like fucking nightmare. He is married to a woman that like their marriage is like stressful, and they have like 5 kids and a vehicle that breaks down everywhere they go. Remember? Just he created this super shitty simulation life for himself.
I think so.
Yes, that was the Better Than Life episode.
That was more real. That's a realistic version of life. Oh, people from Earth. I am hungry and my body hurts.
Cucumber sandwiches. We ate cereal for the first time in a long time yesterday. Some Lucky Charms because they're magically delicious, and
I'm pretty sure it made me fart all night.
I have green poop today. So
well, I mean that was on the internet.
It's out there now. They all know.
Thanks for keeping me company on me trip to Scotland. Anytime.
You're welcome, sir.
Anytime. Don't forget to tip your waiters. If they're of the lower class, you can just take your coins and throw them about.
Oh, let's watch the poor people scramble for pennies.
Thank you for coming to see us, and we hope you have a fantastic rest of the day.
Old friends and new friends and enemies.
Old friends, new friends, enemies from outer space. We're gonna go watch 100 more episodes of Dragon Ball.
Yeah, we'll give you an update on that tomorrow. Dragon
Have a good day, everyone. Jordan, Hayes, Dan, Violette, Philip.
Yes, it was a nice meeting a new person today
Jane,
too. Jane.
Pluvio, Philbian. Anybody I missed, I love you. Thank you for coming, Trizzle, you sweet, handsome fella.
I'll do finger hearts.
Finger hearts for you. All the fingering of hearts.
Yeah.
If you're mortician or surgeon. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.